Hello, we're back. Well, I'm back, you are back, everyone's back. Waiting for the next big thing, and I decided to actually, gonna take the trip down the memory lane here. I was looking at one of the Assassin's Creed titles. Of course, I know it's the Ubisoft title, but still, like, kind of after the Odyssey and stuff like that. I was kind of looking at the Assassin's Creed Unity that you see on here. So, luckily for me, my girlfriend actually decided that she's gonna give this game to me to make me happy because I was pretty much without a PC when the catastrophe in France happened, when the cathedral burned down, and Ubisoft was giving away this game for free just to show their support. They donated some money, so really good stuff when it comes to big companies helping out people. Kind of like free PR on catastrophe scales, but hey. So I got this game, right? And the moment I got this game, so the moment she sent me the CD key, I knew I saw this video was coming. I knew I will have to make a video like this because ever since day one when Unity came out, and if I'm not mistaken, that is 2014. I've seen that game reviews, I've seen people playing it, and it was either demanding or it was just a dumpster fire. So of course back in the day I was still kind of like going through all the paces with Q66, AMD chips like 41, 63, 8350s, and I had the GTS 880, if I'm not mistaken, the 512 megabyte one, which was pretty decent rig for the time, and I couldn't play it. The first mission, the very first mission in the game, it was unplayable. It was a PowerPoint slideshow. So I was like, okay, I'm gonna grow up, I'm gonna get a job, get monies, get a PC, finally play this game, because I was really just playing every single Assassin's Creed game that was coming out, and I have a pretty big collection of them. Well, pretty big in terms of everything I could get my hands on for free, so of course that means the previous titles apart from Odyssey, that's been my last videos here, but Odyssey is still on its way. The videos are coming, don't worry boys. Now the one thing that I wanted to show you is before I go and actually launch the game right, I'm gonna talk about some things here. So as you can see, I've done my research pretty well, as you can see from the tabs. I'm gonna walk you through the tabs just real quick here, because I want you to paint the picture. It's 2020, right? If I'm not mistaken, it's like 25th of August, day of recording. I don't know when this video will actually reach you. And after trying to play this game, okay, I didn't actually even actually play it. After trying to play it, by my logic, on the highest settings, like the ultra high settings, I did an Alt F4 and I came out and I started digging into the World Wide Web, and this is what I found, right? So Ubisoft official page, basically, where it goes for system requirements for Assassin's Creed Unity. What are the requirements, right? Well, there's no date when this was created, maybe it's somewhere down there. Anyway, I was reading through this stuff. So the first thing is the minimum requirements. Okay, so let's just reflect on the good old days, 2014, none of this corona shit, none of this crap. So supported operating systems: Windows 7, Windows 8, Windows 8.1, 64-bit versions only. The 8.1 was like this forsaken child, but hey, we don't talk about Windows 8, we do talk about Windows 8.1. CPUs: Intel Core i5 2500K at 3.3 GHz or AMD FX 8350, which actually is one of the CPUs I had. I had the Black Edition, fully unlocked. You could overclock it to like insane amount of whatever you are just going for it. It was very hot, very, very, very fucking hot, but hey. And i5 2500K, right? So unlocked CPU, basically second gen. We're talking 1155 socket that my i7 2600 is sitting on. RAM 6 gigs, okay. Video, and this is important, okay. So graphics cards is required, and NVIDIA GeForce GTX 680 or Radeon 7970. So I'd never had the 7970, nor I had 680 at the time. So basically with my 88 it was like completely out of its proportions. And okay, I mean the requirement is at least 2 gigs of VRAM. You can kind of see the point I'm coming here. With 512 megabytes, you're not even scratching the surface here. So hard drive space is 50 gigs. It's still true to this day, I checked. And peripherals, that's fine. Recommended requirements. Now this is exactly where I kind of, if I could put a spotlight on my desktop here, that would be the fucking spotlight. So recommended. So this is the requirements, the devs themselves, the game industry, the guys who made this stuff, and they tested, and they had the beta testers, alpha testers, closed, open testing, figured out that this is the best, like, top of the line, right? So the processor is an i7 3770 at 3.4, so it's running stock. AMD FX A350, because of its additional cores, obviously. RAM is 8 gigs instead of 6. And graphics card is GeForce 780 or AMD R9 290X with 3 gigs of VRAM. So for 780, I do believe there was some 3 gig options as well, but I kind of remember them with like 2. 780 was the Battlefield 3 killer. You could max that game out like in insane, and it still holds its own in Battlefield 4, which is kind of like, you know, the big titles. Sound cards, keyboard, whatever, right? So supported video cards at release time. Now this is kind of important when it comes back to this time travel stuff. Is 680, the 700 series, and the 900 series. And this is what actually piqued my interest, because as you know, I'm rocking a 980. It's a 984 gig one, it's not a TI. So anyway. Okay, so what we see is an i7 3770 in recommended specs. Let's go for recommended here, right? And at least a 780. So let me just so I did my fair share of digging here. I'm not saying, you know, all of these things sites and comparisons are spot on, but let me just compare the i7 3770, which my socket fully supports, with i7 260. Okay, so we have this CPU, the i7, right? It's 10% faster. So this is a non-K one, so you cannot overclock it. So it's only 10% faster than my 2600. And I was like, okay, I mean, 10%, that must be basically the headroom for the game to run flawlessly. I was like, right, okay, that is fair enough. So I opened up another one. I do use CPU Boss a lot. You can look it up. A lot of CPUs for comparison, just to see how far deep into shit I'm getting myself when it comes to game testing and to lower my expectations. So as you can see, so marginally this CPU kind of performs, I would say, roughly 30%, well, 25-ish, 30% better at some specific things. So when it comes to like ocean surface simulation, so this is like kind of physics engine kind of work more than the CPU. Well, it will crunch some numbers anyway. But anyway, so in terms of single core performance, there's not such a big difference. We do rock 4 cores and 8 threads on a 2600. And in Geekbench, I mean, the difference is like what, $1,500? That is nothing. So I was like, all right, this is it. Let's take a look, okay, at the 3770. It's a 2012 launch date. This game is 2014, and I was like, oh shit. Here is where the fun begins. So it's the second quarter of 2012. The game comes 2 years later. So since the games are being developed for at least the good old times for 4 to 6 years, so basically this game was in development, I would say roughly around 2009, 2010. Basically at 2012 they see that this is one of the top spec CPUs out there, so they were like, okay, so we need this, and they bumped it up. I was like, okay, but that means that at the time of the game release, which is 2014, the i7 was not the king of CPUs anymore, nor was the 8350, mind you. Let's continue on. Since I have the 980, it only makes sense to compare it to 780. Now, in comparisons, as you can see, the 980 has higher clock speed, significantly higher pixel rate, higher effective memory clock speed, which is, I mean, it's a gigahertz, yes, but I mean, still for the chips, it kind of does matter. So roughly it gives you more than 30% higher clock speed. So I would say the 980 at some places are roughly, again, 30% faster than the 780, which is in no case a bad or slow card. Even by today's standard, it still holds its own. So it does have more memory, 4 gigs. It turbo is a bit higher. Of course, depends on if it's a reference card or if it's on any other card you get from all those manufacturers. More render output processors. Now, this is what is very important when it comes to real life gaming, and because you render the picture, you kind of all the textures load up. You need to know where it goes and how it all looks all together. Higher memory clock speed. This is kind of important. You can look at it as a RAM speed, give or take. I'm not even gonna talk about Bioshock Infinite or Battlefield 4 frame rates. I mean, that kind of depends on the CPU as well. But if you scroll down, you can see the reasons to consider the 780. So I'm not gonna look at the 3D Mark score. That's biased. That's how it is. Higher memory bandwidth, which is always a good thing. Not by much, but still. Significantly more texture mapping units. So I mean. An older card is basically biting the ass of a flagship card, because 980 was the flagship card of 2014 when it came out. It has slightly wider memory bus, which is, again, yes, it will give some performance boost in terms of swapping the data between the board and the chip, but anyway, and more shading units. So what I'm looking for here is more texture mapping units and slightly more shading units. So I was like, okay, so technically 980 is still faster, right? It's more powerful. You've seen the games we've been playing. We play Odyssey, Wildlands, Breakpoint. I've played a lot of games with that card. No issues whatsoever. So I was like, okay, I'm pretty okay. And I was concerned about the CPU. So what I did, actually made a treat. Well, I got a treat, to be honest. I got a different system for testing. And this system I've got has an Core i5-9600K, 16 gigs of DDR4 memory, and of course an SSD which holds the game, because if you install the Unity on an external drive, it simply will not launch. You have to install it on a C drive, which is an SSD in this case, so it should help it. So the reason why I'm showing this comparison here is because of the i7 comparison to 960K. Of course, we're talking about what, like fucking 6 generations here, right? 5 generations at least. And as you can see, so we have slightly lower memory latency, much faster single core speed, so 37%, you can feel that. Much faster dual core speed, so this is a 4-core CPU. Much faster quad core speed, half the processing power, 57% more. This, you can feel this. It's the same if you would go from AMD's 4100 to 63, or God allow 8350 black, right? You will instantly feel the difference even just clicking on your goddamn desktop and pressing refresh. And well, I don't see the point of octa-core because this is a 6-core CPU, so I mean, come on. I'm not even gonna look at the overclocked score and value and sentiment and nice to haves and all other fucking specs and conclusions. The point is, the 9600K is relatively new CPU compared to what, 12 years old or 10 years old 3770. Well, 2012, so 8 years old CPU versus pretty much like what, last year's CPU. And as you can see, it does actually perform better. Do you think having this up-to-date hardware with a GPU which is 980, SSD, 16 gigs of RAM makes Assassin's Creed Unity run good or bearable? Why don't we just go there and take a look ourselves. So we're in the game itself. Basically, of course I did the first mission, you know, where you kind of like start the game. So we're at the actual intro mission of the game itself. And as you can see on the upper right corner, I do have Fraps enabled. And just look at the video, how it looks, how it plays, how everything looks. Keep in mind this game is running on an i5-96K, 980, 16 gigs of DDR4, SSD as a main driver this game is running from. And basically just watch. I'm gonna show you the settings I'm running at and how it all looks and what my thoughts about the game is, and we'll go from there. So yeah, just enjoy, guys.
Arno.
Can't I go with you, Father?
Courage, my boy. You wait just here. I will return when...
Also, keep in mind, this is a pre-rendered cutscene,
Forever.
Not as long as all that.
and that's important.
And when I get back, we'll see the fireworks. And Arno, no exploring, hmm?
Yes, Father.
Oh my god, that side of that picture is just killing me. Right, so here we are. We have to catch the girl.
You'd rather sit with that old prune? Come on.
Yeah. Let me just run to your general direction so you fuck off and leave me alone. Perfect. Right, so here we are. So let me just show you my settings that I'm actually running here and why you might actually hear that I'm like trying not to laugh out loud every single time I look at this game. So let's go for it. So I'm running full HD. So it's not 4K, not 8K or 16K. Some crazy people are running 8Ks now, but hey. Refresh rate 60 Hz, window mode is full screen. Graphics quality is custom. We're gonna go into details why it's custom. Vertical sync is off, obviously. Stretching is off. I have no idea what the fuck that means, apparently for wide screens. Let's go into advanced. So environment quality ultra high. Texture quality ultra high. It shows to apply the changes and to restart the game. You can trust me, I've done this 2 times. It still shows me this stuff. I don't know how else I need to restart the game. I even went as far as rebooting the PC. So you know what, I've done everything. If it still doesn't get the message, you know what, you do you game. Shadow quality, soft shadow. So basically I can change this to like high, low and soft. So let's just stress everything. I mean, we have 980 for fuck's sake, right? It's a flagship card. It came after 780. It supports features that card couldn't even dream of, and this is again NVIDIA GameWorks. This game does have one of the things that was kind of like I would say the first stone in a foundation. Sorry, like the Hairworks itself, as you remember from Witcher 3, where you had the NVIDIA Hairworks. If you enable that, basically you get like shit FPS because there was not enough processing power to run the hair simulation or the clothes simulation at the same time, because you know it was all like to look realistic. The next game was Tomb Raider and stuff like that, where Lara's hair was just going all over the fucking place. But here that kind of comes with the physics engines to make the games look more natural. Of course, we're gonna take a look at this boy's head, and I must say that's a sight to see. Ambient occlusion HBA plus, so this is highly PR'd by NVIDIA. When it first came out, and this was one of the first games I believe also that actually featured this. kind of like this soft shadows, and all the ground kind of like reflects and things like this. I mean, the ray tracing wasn't even on the papers back then, I do believe, unless maybe some crazy NVIDIA scientist or engineer was kind of having some flashbacks that he might have the future visions about this. Anti-aliasing, so TXA, so basically temporal, again, NVIDIA's GameWorks. I could crank this up, I just went to the highest one and it shows NVIDIA, so I was like, fuck it, apparently it's the best we can get here. Also, if I go on GeForce Experience and I try to optimize the game, this kind of gets enabled by default doing the optimization, so I was like, okay. And Bloom, of course, is on. So I'm gonna just back out. As you can see, it didn't ask me to apply any changes, because I didn't change anything. No, please, girl, fuck off. Okay, so let's just take a look how all of this looks. I don't know, guys, about requirements for games, but if I had this setup back in 2014 when this game came out, I would be fucking doing a lawsuit. I mean, the shadows, yes, I can kind of see the softness of the shadows, but I can also see the ridged edges. You can literally see the pixelation on the edges. Maybe it's just me being, you know, whiny guy who nitpicks everything. The one thing I was surprised about is the reflections. As you can see, there is actually the reflection on the tiles when you walk around, which reflects the object like the window. Now, first of all, there's no ray tracing. This is kind of like a static reflection. So it's not like groundbreaking, nor it takes a lot of resources from the graphics card, because all this reflection is already pre-rendered. Now, looking at this guy's hair, like that's me, the Arno. I'm sorry, where the fuck is this new hair technology? Where did my head go? Where's my head? So you can see, if I move the boy, right, you can see that the hair kind of tries to simulate how the actual hair would look, but it looks he hasn't had a shower for a year and a half. That's how it fucking looks. I mean, they could have easily left it in anything other but this shit. So of course you can see a bit of outside world here. And the jagged lines on almost every fucking object in a distance. You can literally see the frame, like that picture frame, it's spasming in and out. Like you can literally see the anti-aliasing is doing fuck all here. You can see the chandeliers at the end of the corridor is spasming out. They're doing, and don't tell me it's because it's trying to reflect the light. We are well out of its draw distance for us to even see any effect of any possible artificial lightning reflection someone has put into this game. So yeah, the first feeling, yeah, you can actually see the tiles, you know, kind of like polished marble stuff. That's kind of cool. I don't see the door texture. It's somewhere on vacation or holidays. The chair legs, the one that on the right, when I slightly move the mouse, it's spasming in and out of existence. So that's kind of cool to know. Okay, so let's just go and look at the frames. We're getting 56 frames. This game is using, and I looked it up, of course. I kind of don't like Riva Turner to show all the on-screen statistics. I might actually do it in my next videos if you guys want me to. I just don't like taking up half of the screen. But I do believe some people want this information as well. So we're not even hitting 60 frames in enclosed fucking space where nothing happens. This is insanity. I was playing Odyssey with all the microstutters, which is again apparently Ubisoft straight. 58 to 65. Breakpoint on high will be definitely above 60. On ultra high or ultra settings, we simply don't have the video memory for it, so it's gonna be below that. But god fucking damn, we're talking 2014 here, people, and this CPU is an overkill for this GPU. I do believe the GPU is just like working overtime here. Let's just walk further down. Okay, so we have some lightning changes, so this looks kinda nice. Nothing is coming in and out of existence, so we see some reflections in, I do believe those are supposed to be mirrors. Okay, so you can see all the edges on the windows, like the cubes of the windows, how you fucking call them, fuck knows. You can literally see, this is not okay. I mean, we're running ultra high everything. I mean, please, give me the penalty, but give me the graphical candy. This is not looking good at all. I don't know, maybe it was like their first try of just squeezing out another Assassin's Creed title. That's the best I can imagine at this point. Okay, let's go here. So still some reflections. I do believe I kind of noticed there was reflections. Yeah, there it is. So there's a static reflection on the floor, and it does not represent, of course, the object because it's not an RTX. So it cannot calculate it or predict where the fuck everything is. That's a mess, and nobody seems to care. That kind of like shows the correct attitude. Well, we understand we're in Unity game, so we run the fuck away. Great. So let's walk. So let's take a look at the mirror. So the mirror is actually reflecting that side of the room, which for some people might have been like a big, oh my god, this is so amazing, but it's not the first game who've done it. And now comes the moment of truth when I actually had to stop the first recording. Oh, we have a mirror that shows this very window. And we are a vampire! Nothing fucking happens. What happens? The mirror shows my shadow. I'm sorry. I just cannot do this. If you are cramming in all experimental features and you have the card that supports your fucking experimental features, let me see your experimental features. At this point, this looks like there's no anti-aliasing used at all. Everything is just ridged. Like you can literally see like those metallic objects on the table, they're just like spasming in and out of existence with their artificial reflection. This is a fake mirror. Nothing's being reflected in terms of an actual object, which is us. Same here. It shows the door. Let's see if we can make out. So it shows yellow, red. So what is yellow and red here? I mean, it clearly shows yellow and red, and that's definitely not the fucking carpet. There's nothing yellow and red, so this is a static image put into the mirror. Or maybe it's other side? Highly doubt it. Nope, that's the second window over there, so this is a static image, so it's an image within an image. That is great. That girl can wait. Let's move around here. So this looks nice, absolutely. So there's some really basic water simulation going on. Apparently this kind of cooked the previous Nvidia cards because they couldn't actually calculate what the fuck is going on, but hey. Progress requires sacrifice. So I see some plant life here. Now this is where the second part of fun begins. Just look at this. It's 2D. It's so 2D it hurts. If any of you actually remember Battlefield 4, when you just start playing it, there's like the market scene where all the fruits in the baskets are actually a 2D picture, not the 3D ones. So it kind of like reminds me of that, but hey. And there's an inside of another room, which at least seems realistic enough. I do believe, of course, back in 2014, it was more about historical accuracy rather than realism in the games. However, if it wasn't the case, why bother with all this shit? I mean, the reflections on the glass looks kinda nice. The lightning itself and the skies, you can see the clouds are moving. Yes, it's kinda okay, but you can clearly see something is missing here. Okay, let's move on. We're still in enclosed space, we're finally pushing 60 frames, which is very good, which is amazing. Let's walk by some static bushes, lose some frames to 54. Let's listen to this whiny and pushy bitch.
Bet you can't steal one.
Okay, you win the bet, that's it. Now, I'm not gonna steal an apple, I'm not a thief, right? I'm a respectable son of someone. So let's just try to skip this. Can we go? No, we cannot because we just have to steal an apple. So there's no free choice. Game just pushes you to learn its mechanics. Okay, so let's run and learn the mechanic. Let's run to the apple from this side. Oh my god. I see an apple, and I can't steal it. Oh, looks like the distance is too big. Let's go to the side of the table. And looks like my arms are shorter than of the matchstick, because I still can't reach a fucking apple. The guard is clearly looking at me. Oh, talking about the guards. You see this motherfucker here? He's been posted here for a reason. He's awaiting kids. Look. This servant, he giggles. Well, he was giggling in the first playthrough. Apparently he learned his lesson. Maybe someone called the FBI. He got scared. So this guard doesn't give a single flying fuck about us here. There's still some reflections. Okay, so...
Put that back!
I can't keep running away. I have to press escape to close. Okay.
Penalty is for stealing. These are for His Royal Highness, not the likes of you.
Yeah, that's fine.
Put that away now.
So you just have to hide from the guard.
Got you now.
He doesn't have us now.
Hurry, through here.
That's how you can quickly pass this level. So look at the animation. It's dropped down to 40:35.
When we stole those apples.
Oh my
I'm
god.
Arno.
Nightmare fuel.
I'm here
Save
with
me.
my father.
So am I. He has important business with the king.
What should we do now?
Listen,
You can hear the plot starting.
they'll never think to look for us in here.
It was my fault. I'm the one who took the apple.
Let's see where they're going.
I wasn't even running at this point, but okay. So we're back here. Luckily nothing is spasming out of existence, which is kinda surprising. We're still not pushing 60 frames.
I sincerely hope this unfortunate affair does not darken your opinion of our nation.
Monsieur, if we judge nations by the character of the criminal,
Father?
we should all be called.
Come here, girl. Now.
Father?
Okay, let's... What the fuck happened with that dress over there? I saw it, game. I did see it. Oh, hello. There was a glitch. This game has been patched so many times. I've lost count. I mean, I'm not exactly following Assassin's Creed Unity update cycles. But there was definitely some glitching coming off from these two models here. Also, the model textures, they don't look good. Look at her hair. She looks like a parrot or a peacock or some shit. I would say even like a chicken. Yeah, look at this shit. Jesus Christ. Nvidia. I mean, not Nvidia. I mean, Jesus Christ, Ubisoft. What the fuck? Did you glitch? Yep. It glitched again. Okay, cool. So let's get our plot started. Apparently our father discovered that we're playing Unity, so he decided to, you know, end it all. That guard's face is just priceless.
Anon. Anon. Look at me.
Okay, so I don't know how patient the people need to be to pass the first mission without uninstalling the game. And let's say they have high hopes, like me. You know, I'm a nice person when it comes to it.
Cards so you stoop to thieving, you bastard.
Calm down, Victor. I've only come for my walk.
Cutscene jumping 35 to 40 frames.
Well, in a just world, Victor, I would agree with you, but this is not a just world. This is France.
You're a dead man.
Ooh, step lightly there, you'll hurt yourself. I just had a nice chat with your brother.
Hugo, fetch the marshals.
Hold on.
So let's climb up, unless we're getting shot a bit. Kind of reminds us of Battlefield. Okay. So the draw distance is nothing because this is kind of like, you know, the tutorial movement tutorial area. So there's not really much difference coverage here. Someone noticed us. Fuck. Oh, I'm gonna desynchronize. Anyway, if that is my fate, I'm gonna gladly accept it, because honestly, this is just funny as hell when you look at it. The way this game was even pushed out, and it's been goddamn 6 years, and it's still not fixed. I mean, I cannot call this an improvement. I've seen a lot of ports from consoles to PCs and from PCs to consoles and stuff like that. Not bad, not great. Usually pretty terrible, but I mean, come on, guys. Come on. 48 frames on this game with overkill hardware. I don't know, guys. I don't know. Leave your comments, leave your thoughts. Tell me if I'm missing something. Am I playing the wrong games? Am I nitpicking them too hard? I have no idea, but here we are. And it actually, I don't know, a lot of people say this game looks amazing. I honestly don't see anything amazing about this. In my opinion, this would be low to medium settings. There's no actual vegetation, there's no colors, there's no HDR, no saturation, no adjustments, no depth of field. There's fucking nothing here. And it hogs up your resources like there's no tomorrow. Do we actually have ground physics? Well, there is some dust particles being kicked up, but same as other games. Even Frostpunk has fucking footprints in the snow, and that's a goddamn real-time survival / strategy game. You can't even see the people this up close. Yeah, anyway, I think the rant is over. Time to go and meet the father who's gonna tell me that I'm kinda fucked myself, so... Yeah, thanks for watching, and let me know what you guys think, cause I think the Ubisoft is still at large. Ever since they started making open world games, they did it with malicious intent. But I don't know. Yeah. So this is it. Thanks for watching, and stay classy, boys.